Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Discover Las Vegas. This is Parks and Rec's first podcast, so we're super excited. So I'm your one host, Priscilla Scott, Recreation Coordinator with the City of Las Vegas with Mr.
Philip Anthony Payne.
Oh, whole name today.
Yeah. It's early.
time.
This is my first day in today. I'm ready to go for the week.
Go. Green light. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we're here with the fabulous Mr. Bob Murray. Tell us about yourself.
How are you guys doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Great to be here. I'm excited.
Hold on. I think we should give Bob a proper introduction. This is one of the main members of the city of Las Vegas. He's been here for, how long was it? 30 years?
I was with the department for 30 years. I retired in 2020, and then I was lucky enough to be able to come back part-time and coach wheelchair sports just this last year. Very, very excited about it. When you're able to come back and do something that you love, and that you're passionate about, and you're given that second chapter, it's pretty special. It's very special, and to be able to do what we do with the people that we work with every day, that your second family, it's just a blessing.
I said this earlier before we started recording, but I'm going to say it again. One of my very early memories of you as a wee child coming into Parks and Rec was you running the largest wheelchair basketball program that the city had.
It wasn't just me. We ran in adaptive recreation. We did do wheelchair basketball tournaments, and at that time, wheelchair basketball was huge. We would have multiple tournaments throughout the season. We utilized all of our facilities as well as UNLV. It was just huge. It was just a huge. I think I said huge deal for the department. Yeah.
So where did it start?
Where did it start? It started in 1979 when I was a participant in our programs at Paul Cully. Wow. Actually, Mark Romeo, for those of you that remember Mark Romeo, he was our site leader.
My very first boss.
Was he really?
Yes, he was my first boss ever in life.
Vegas, yeah.
He was my first boss, too.
What? Nuh-uh.
Yeah, when I was over at Garside, when it was Charleston Heights.
Yep. Man. So you started at Paul Cully.
Started at Paul Cully, and I think I was 9 years old. At 9 years old, you're like, this is pretty cool. And you're doing all your summer trips, and as a participant, just kind of grew up, and I did. I grew up in the department, and from there, worked summers, became whatever the title that I had was, wound up being a summer site leader at K.O. Knutson summer program. I was held over for seasonal work and did special events. I was part of the first A team, which became special events. An actual title was special events now. And then from there, I worked at Johnson Community School, came into our cultural affairs, worked there for 2 years. And then I was lucky enough to come back into recreation at Mulaski.
Wow.
And then from Mulaski, I went back to Johnson. And then I went to adaptive, and I was lucky enough to be selected to go there. After school programs for all levels of ability, and wheelchair sports just happened, and I fell in love with it. Running wheelchair rugby, along with our wheelchair basketball and all of our other outdoor adventures and events like that. From there, I was on the U.S. Paralympic team for wheelchair rugby from Beijing to Tokyo, ending that run right after Tokyo, which was also about the same time that I retired from the city. So yeah, I've been around.
Can we go back to your wheelchair rugby days? So what pulled you into wheelchair rugby?
You know, everything goes, and I have to give everything that I have, you know, of course, to John Chambers. He gave us that latitude, and he's said anything that we want when you find your niche, you know, go with it. Basketball, you know, that was already established, and rugby, we had a team, but it just kind of it was just on a club level. We were able to bring that team back together, and it went on from there. We had it was a national developmental program, high intensity, high level clinic in 2005, and that was at Vets Memorial, where we had 56 athletes from across the nation come. The head coach, James Gumbert, and 2 U.S. athletes from Team USA, they were our instructors. They came in and they provided instruction for 3 days, and it was amazing. And actually, that event actually springboarded our program, and from there it was just awesome.
Have you had a player that has made, because you've coached them and you've spent so much time with them, have you had a player that has made like an impact that you're like, man, either whether you saw yourself in that player or you saw the way that they grew or how they excelled?
All of them. I mean, there's been players like CJ Aaronwine, who's actually employed by this. He's a part-time employee now. Phenomenal athlete. You have athletes. My gosh, Mike Schackerbauer. He made it. He made it to a Paralympic tryout, Team USA tryout. Great athlete. He actually now plays for the Stampede, which is my club team out of Austin. But every athlete that's come through our doors has had success, and it has transcended into their everyday life. You know, just like you guys know, through sport, our successes on the field or the rugby pitch or the bowling alley, when we have those small successes, they transcend into our everyday life, which is really awesome to see when that happens, when you notice that. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that, I mean, for me, that's kind of what keeps me coming back.
That's pretty awesome. So tell us about this really cool event that you just got to participate with and help the city implement, because I want to know all about it.
I just got chills. When I came back, one of the things we talked about was bringing wheelchair football to Las Vegas. Last year, I was the assistant coach for the Dallas Cowboys wheelchair football team. Excuse me. And coming back home, you really don't ever get to come back home again. But I was lucky enough to be able to come back home. We were able to apply to move the application process for the league to Move United. And with that, Move United oversees the Wheelchair Football League. There were currently 11 teams. We were accepted into this year's expansion, as well as the Patriots, so that we became the 13th team. With that, we were able to, we opened it up. We had tryouts. We had, everything that you could think of for a professional team organization. That's what we did. Practicing once, twice a week, filled our squad. We were able to have 26 people come through the door with interest. We travel with 14, but our program is 24. The tournaments that we went to were Buffalo and Chicago, and we were able to also get a Vegas tournament, a home tournament, which without the help of Andrea Anzalone and Savante Manor, this would not have. There's no possible way that this would have happened the way that it did. Adam's
Cicadas.
Sorry, Adam. Happens every time.
Happens every time.
Love you. Adaptive and the sports unit coming together and really, it was a amazing tournament. There's the tournaments that I went through last year and the two we went to this year. This one was out of the park. I mean, from the optics, from the tents being set up, the athlete reception, it was just amazing, and the level of play was huge. You know, we had teams, Chicago, the Rams, the Rams from LA, Buffalo Bills, us, Arizona, and I'm forgetting Birmingham. It was just a great tournament. Everyone was excited about it. I mean, of course, coming to Vegas, everyone's going to come to Vegas because it's Vegas. Mm-hmm. But when you have this level of a tournament and the way that it was just played out and planned out and actually executed, it was phenomenal. We held it at the Llama Lot down on Fremont Street, Fremont and between 9th and 10th Street. Greatest venue ever. We're hoping that we will be applying for it for next year, and we're hoping to use the same facility. But yeah, everyone they just had a great time.
So a lot of these teams have so for me, one of the questions comes up, are you guys in partnership with the professional teams that are represented in the league?
So we are the Las Vegas Raiders, and how that came about is through Move United. Move United is actually the governing body of wheelchair football.
Okay.
With that, through our application process, Move United works with the Bob Woodruff Foundation and the NFL Salute to Service. So our application actually went through them to the NFL for approval. And with that, we received the ability to use marks in color, logo, and the jersey. Mm-hmm. Before I came back, we were lucky enough to, or the department was lucky enough to have that relationship with the Raiders, mm-hmm. Through the Raiders Foundation, and they were doing a lot of stuff with flag football, youth programs. So when I came back, we presented it to, saying, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. They were on board right from the beginning. And it is, and hopefully will be, a lasting relationship that, we're very lucky to have. There's a lot of things that were made possible by that relationship. Mm-hmm. And I can't say how excited I am about it and how lucky we are to have it.
Yeah, that partnership, even for us on the able-bodied recreation mm-hmm. side of the department, we have benefited so much from our partnership with the Raiders. Like, they've done some phenomenal things for the kids in our programs and our leagues. So I know it's a relationship that, they've done so much for the Las Vegas Valley since they came in.
It's true. Very true.
Yeah.
The entire valley, mm-hmm. And it's an amazing thing to be able to say that you're. It's an amazing thing to say that you're working with the Las Vegas Raiders, but to be able to say that you're working, you're the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders wheelchair football team. That's I'm like, what? I grew up a Raider fan. My earliest memory of watching football was with my grandfather, my brother and I watching the Raiders with my grandfather, and it is just to even, I stumble over words all the time because it's really hard to explain that feeling. Mm-hmm. It's very special. It's very special.
Can you tell us about what some of the modifications are from, traditional football into wheelchair football?
The sport of wheelchair football, the rules are kind of a mix between NC2A and NFL. The ball that we use is the NC2A ball, and that's pretty much the only modifications. Of course, we're in wheelchairs. Now, wheelchairs is just a way to play the sport. Mm-hmm. There is a classification system. And the classification is, we're allowed 21 points per side. So we play 7-on-7, one-hand touch, which usually comes into one-hand push. And it is so. If we were going by a point system, me being a 2, you would be a 3, Phil would be a 4, and then we would have to round the rest of the squad out to make that 21 points. And that just kind of evens out both sides. Most wheelchair sports have that classification system. Rugby, in wheelchair rugby, you're allowed 8 points because it's played 4-on-4. Basketball, I can't remember the actual point, but they do have a classification system as well. And with that, it's football. Even though we're in chairs, it's football, and it's an amazing way to watch football. And it's come a long way. We did in 2000, again dating myself, in 2004, we had what was called the Blister Bowl. Actually, I think it started in 2002, but it went all the way to 2007, and we held it out at Freedom Park. And it was a league, an event we did in collaboration with Extreme Medical out of California, who, funny enough, they are the Rams now. And
Comes full circle.
Right? And with that, we played 11 on 11. We didn't have class points. We just played football, and it was great. It did kind of after that. It just kind of faded out. This version of wheelchair football has a lot of steam, and we're very excited to be a part of it. Mm-hmm.
Can you touch a little bit more on how the classifications work? Do you get classification points from tournaments, or how does a player go from being classified as a 1 to a 4?
Sure,
and so on.
Sure. It's through bench testing. So, and that basically that's your level of function. So depending on where your spinal cord is, where your injury is for your spinal cord, your break, that would give you, do you have function in your hands? Those that have quadriplegia, they have less function than a paraplegic. So your hand function, your core, your stability, that comes down to what's called a bench test. And OTs and PTs that have been certified to do this, they have a panel of I think 4 that come in, and they will go through this bench test with all the athletes to get to that point. And so there are times when you're classed down, but as it is possible to be classed up through practice and through different strapping and function. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever had someone who does not have a disability participate, or what are the rules regarding that?
So on the recreation end, we encourage everyone to come out and participate. Reason being is that, people that, especially moms and dads that have a son or a daughter that is in a chair, that they 100% support their child, but they don't really know what it's like. We allow them that opportunity to get in the chair to see what it's like to participate, so they can actually have that more one-on-one experience. Mm-hmm. And even adults who come out, hey, you want to get in the chair? Try it out. They get in it. The more, that whole thing, the more you know, of course. Mm-hmm. They get in, they see, they feel it, they see it, they feel what it's like. They get strapped into the chair. They're able to play. And it really just brings everybody together, so that we're all on that same level. Mm-hmm. It's a great experience, and I encourage everyone, if they're interested, to come out. Please contact us and come out just to see it and in person and get that experience.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So being able to host the whole tournament, how does that go? With just organizationally, how many days? I know we got.
So we just had the tournament last weekend, and it started for us in January. No, I'm sorry, November. That was the November of last year. That was the application process. Once approved, it was everyone's involved, boots on the ground, and we were planning everything from finding the venue to getting all the equipment together. And for me, of course, getting our team together, getting our team going. It was it's one of the most amazing experiences to be a part of a program like this in my 30 plus years. Yeah, it was just phenomenal, and everything that the department did and our division and adaptive and sports and just the excitement that was built up around it. I haven't had that in a very long time. That feeling I can't tell you how long it's been. I was very excited about it. Yes.
That's such a cool program, though. Like, Vegas is home to so many firsts. Like, I haven't heard of a tournament like this ever.
I haven't either. Yeah, I mean, I really haven't either. And we've done some amazing things. But to have it at this level with this amount of support, and the NFL is involved, and Move United was involved. The department, everyone, just the pure excitement of having this type of event. It was off the charts. It was, and everything just clicked, and it was amazing. It was that point where you're sitting there at the end of the day, and you're like, that just happened.
This was dope.
This was dope. I mean, kind of like that end of Ocean's 8 when they're all at the Bellagio, and they're just sitting there, and they're all like,
Wow.
yeah. That's exactly the feeling. It was awesome.
Was there ever a point where you were like, how are we going to pull this off?
Yeah. every day. I mean, even though it was right there in front of us, yes, you're approved. Yes, this is going. We got green lights everywhere. Go, 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 go. You always have that side. You're like, no, they're putting me in charge of this? No, this isn't going to happen. And I mean, everyone's their own worst critic, of course. But man, it was just amazing. It was just amazing.
I know the team that you work with, so I want to kind of shift the focus so we can talk about like your work fam, your team, because the people that you work with, they're not just now. Like, when I go back to what I started with, they were your team then. And
it is, I can't tell you.
Tell me about your team.
Phenomenal. I mean, I've worked with these people for, 25, 30 years. And to be able to come back into that same group where we are now, no one gets to do that. No one gets to retire after 30 years and then be offered that chance to come back with the people that you did so much with prior. I mean, Savante and Andrea and Adam, and it's ridiculous. I mean, for me, it's like every day I'm like, I really get to do this again with these people that I I admire and love, and I'm so lucky to be able to do that with them. It's like waking up and being able to hang out with your best friends all day long, and it's awesome. It is. There's no words to actually describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. You have a pretty cool team. I remember like so many memories of you guys all, not just wheelchair sports, but corporate challenge and the big department events. Halloween was always big, like haunted houses that
oh my gosh, the haunted houses. We would do haunted houses at all the community schools, and we would start on Friday night when school ended. We would go. I remember, like, we were at Johnson, and Pete Priest and we took my truck down to, I think it was called, Lowe's, and back of my truck loaded with lumber, and we come back to Johnson, and we're building this haunted house in the lockers with visqueen and And I don't know how we did it, but we found a fog machine, and it was just crazy.
A lot of Visqueen.
A lot of Visqueen, yeah, a lot, a lot. It was like you could have you could have made a slip and slide from here to downtown with all the Visqueen.
I remember those days.
Yeah,
Yes.
just awesome.
That's probably where ladder training came from.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
So can we touch? I want to know what happened in the tournament. So who did we pull it out?
Oh my gosh.
Highlights.
So we were talking about this earlier, and I came in, and our team, it's not where we wanted to finish. We finished 2-2. But with our team coming from where we were, I mean, we still have guys trying to figure out the sport.
Is this your first year?
This is our first year.
Okay.
We wound up 6-6 on the year. But our athletes are, I mean, they're all basketball players, and a lot of the basketball players they cross over. Chair skills are chair skills. It's just a different sport. Mm-hmm. So we had we have a phenomenal team. I mean, these guys and gals are beyond amazing in their athletic ability. Again, we wound up 2-2. Who did we beat? We beat the Packers, and then the Bills on Sunday. Our game on Sunday was, I've never been in that game. You're tied at the end, 19-19. It's been a heated game, heated game. I mean, heated game. And what's funny, one of our guys, Caesar, he thought he was going to foul out because he's played basketball forever. So he's always like, am I going to foul out? Am I going to foul out? Like, no, you're good. You're good. It's okay.
It's football.
It's football. You don't foul out in football. Got it. And then he's gone. And then there's another flag. It was awesome. It was just great. But our game came down to tied 19-19 at the end of regulation. And then our overtime rules are the NC2A, where you get your from the 15, you get a set of downs to score. Then they get a set of downs. And if it's tied after that, then you do it again. So they go first, and they score, but they miss the extra point. Now, extra point in wheelchair football is a pass, is 1 point. And if you run it in or push it in, it's 2 points. So kind of translate to college and NFL. So they score, making it 25-19, but they missed the extra point. So we're all excited, right? Defense pulled it out for us. So now we get our turn. And it is, I mean, their defense was strong. The Bills have a very strong team. There's flags, there's everything. We're lucky enough to score. So it's 25-25. Mm-hmm. So I go out and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? We're going to do this play. Let's do this play. I'm looking over, checking out their defense, how they're setting up. And our quarterback, Ola, he just looks and is like, look, just line up, and I'm going to go right over Jody's back. And I'm thinking, like, you're going to do what? Coach, we're going to do it. We're going to put it in. I love it. Let's do it. I mean, you can't argue that. So I'm walking off just thinking, how's this going to look? What's this going to look like? And they line up, hikes the ball, and I'm telling you, he pushed his chair right up behind our center, extended over, and scored, and got the extra point.
Wow.
It was
Tush push makes an appearance again.
the tush push, the cush push. Perfect. It was amazing. You wake up on Monday morning, you're like, did that really happen? On top of the tournament, you're like, oh, how did we? Oh my God, did that? What? It's like all these things going back and forth. Yeah, it was phenomenal. And the best athletes have the shortest memories. So, and that was like my mantra for everything. Mm-hmm. Forget it. remember the lesson, but forget what happened. Let's just push forward, keep pushing forward, keep pushing forward. At the end of the game, I was like, forget what I said, remember that. That's what you want to end on your first season with. That's what you want to remember carrying into next season. And it was just phenomenal. It was
Pretty
just
awesome.
great.
When does next season start for you guys?
Today.
Oh, wow.
No, I mean that's every sport. Once the season ends, your next season starts. So actually, it'll start in December. But you start training now. You start trying to recover. Rest and recover. Slowly get your body and your mind ready to go for the next season. Now, a lot of our guys they actually have basketball practice tonight. Like I said, a lot of our athletes are also on the basketball
Crossover.
team. So they've been practicing on Wednesday nights basketball for quite a while. So that season will go through now through I think January, February-ish, March, and then our league tournaments will begin in June, July, I believe. So we're starting now for next season.
How do your tryouts work?
Tryouts. It's this year was being our first year. It was a 2-day process. So we just had compulsories. We had the 40. We had drills and skills and drills, passing, catching, pushing. What's your mile? How fast can you do the gauntlet? Your cones, your diamonds, all the skills that you would see in a normal football tryout. And I kind of threw some other wheelchair sports in there. We put it all together and laid it out in the gym, and that's what we used. Now, of course, from that being our first one, we've made some changes and modifications for next year. I mean, that's how you get better. We have that evaluation process where what happened this year, what was good, what was bad, and then we try to make those adjustments for the future.
So have you picked a date for, like, if someone wanted to join either the basketball team or the football team, how can someone do that?
So starting in December, we'll actually be down the month of November for our, just like our
Off-season.
floors
Gym resurfacing and all that.
gym floors get resurfaced usually in November. So coming back in December on Monday nights at Dula from 6 to 8 p.m. we have football, and then on Wednesdays from 6 to 8 we have basketball, and those are basically our 2 days for right now.
Okay. Awesome. So if you could give a brand new rec professional advice to get them to their 30 years, what is the biggest piece of advice you'd give them?
Oh, where'd you go?
Right here.
Take two. I would say patience. Patience. Everybody wants to be able to have that big wow moment. It took me 30 years and had to come back to have that. And I had many wow moments. I've been part of many great teams and many people that I've worked with that I'll never forget. But it's patience. Learn from the people in front of you, because we always sit on top of the shoulders of others. For me, it's John Chambers, Lonnie Zimmerman, it's John Foster, it's been working with Pete, Ray Call, all of the people that you work with throughout your career. That is, that's what guides you. And you have ups and downs. I've had many ups and downs, and it's you learn from the downs, right, to make you get better. And just like I said on the field of play, those successes that you have, that transcends into your everyday life, and that helps you become the better athlete, the better employee, the better person. And when you have that that fire that you wake up every morning and you're like, man, I get to do. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. I get to come in and help the community and be that for whoever it is. You may not even. We never know how many people that we affect in their lives, and just to be able to have that opportunity every day, that's what keeps me going and doing what I do, and I love it. I love it. So, from me to you, patience, patience, and continue to do what you do, because you're amazing. You really are.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So are you. Just to be able to come back and hang out with you guys this is awesome. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate you taking the time out to educate us, to join our podcast and share some insight. So you've made an impact on a lot of people, and you've made an impact on my life too. So
I appreciate it.
I do got one question I want to ask, but this might segue us into
go for it.
more time. But what kind of offense you running? I'm an offensive nerd when it comes to football.
So
Former wide receiver.
where'd you play wide receiver?
UNLV.
That's right. What year?
Homegrown.
08 through 12. No redshirt year.
Where'd you go to high school?
Western.
Yeah.
Dub.
Yeah. So I went to Western too.
Yes, sir.
88 was when I graduated. That's 1988. The offense that we run it's a lot of open sets. We try to do. Some teams do they run a halfback, but most of our offense are empty sets with a lot of motion. Then we just throw our plays in there with it. So stacked up, or strong left. We call it the cupcake or flapjacks, pancake. I was hungry when I made up these plays.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then we had one with it was a cupcake.
I bet they remember them.
Cupcake with yellow frosting. That's when our halfback came across. Frosting streak or something like that.
So one play call for us.
One play call?
Yeah. Let's see if we can guess what they're running out there.
So we're gonna go
Secret.
we're gonna go tight cupcake, yellow streak on one.
No idea. Streak, somebody's going on the go. Somebody taking a 9.
Someone's taking a 9.
Somebody's going deep.
But
Somebody going in motion. Is he
Yeah.
going in motion is he running the 9 off the motion?
he's running the 9 off the motion.
Look at you.
It's crazy though, because that's literally what the NFL is right now. What they're doing with like Tyreek and all these dudes with the motions and getting them on the run. It's almost like Canadian football, where they're getting that little head start.
They're getting the head start and cutting up. Now, one of the problems that we have, and every team has this, is that motion. You got to come in a straight line.
Yeah, you can't go.
So we have a tendency to kind of banana it, and of course you can't do that.
Yeah.
But that's just turning the chair and kind of coming around.
But is that because you're on the line of scrimmage? Because they do that banana type of motion when they're behind the backfield. Like somebody's in the pistol, or they run that motion behind the guy. Is it only because of that, or
No, they just happen to. A lot of guys just haven't figured the straight line. Yeah.
Okay.
So. But yeah, and then our defense we'll do a 3-4. We tried to do the 3-4, but winds up being a 5-2. Everybody wants to get in. Usually the middle. The middle is where normally I was a lineman, so for me the game's won on the line of scrimmage. But the middle is usually where all the action happens on after after the snap. We do have, and man, teams that have speed, I got to give it up to the Rams. The Rams, they actually won the tournament.
Okay.
They're just fast. It's hard. It's. I mean, and as we all know, it's hard to match speed.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was like trying to catch a roadrunner. We felt like the coyote on Bugs Bunny, man. It was hard. It was hard. Yeah, exactly. They were,
You can't teach fast.
you cannot teach fast. You can teach everything else.
Yep.
And I mean, football to football, we were good. We were right there. If it was just football to football, it would have been a different outcome. But speed, no. we will be there. We just weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't our time this time.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Next time.
Yeah.
We coming.
Well, we're coming. We are coming. Yes, sir.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me out. I really appreciate this.
All right.
That was so cool.
Discover Las Vegas out.